welcome. Aibon. The present perfect tense is going to be our focus for today's lesson, right? So we have done the simple present, the present continuous, simple past, past continuous. So today we're going to have a look at the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense is used to refer to complete actions. Now, if you remember, in the simple past tense also we had this, completed actions. So, it is quite similar to the past tense. So, if it is quite similar, then why do we need another tense? What is the difference? The difference is that in the simple past tense, you had the specific time. But here, you don't have a definite time. Without a definite time, and this does not include definite time phrases. So that is the main difference. Or else, it feels like you're talking about a completed action, right? So both of these tenses, they're used to talk about completed actions. The main difference is that the simple past tense talks about a specific time frame and it includes a definite time frame, whereas the present perfect does not include a specific time frame, right? They attended a meeting yesterday. Now, when you say yesterday, you know that this was at a specific time in the past. So, therefore, you can use the simple past tense. However, they have attended a board meeting. We don't know when it was, but they have already done it and the action is completed. So, have attended. Now, if you have a look at the form of the present perfect tense, if it is singular, then it is has plus the past participle. PP means past participle of the verb, right? If it is plural, it is have plus the PP. But remember, even though I and you are singular, they act like plural. So, I have, you have. Past participle means go present tense, past tense, went, past participle, gone. She has gone, he has gone, it has gone, they have gone, we have gone, I have gone, you have gone. Okay, so remember, irregular verbs will change, whereas the regular verbs will remain the same, like jump, jumped, jumped. Okay, so she has jumped, he has jumped, it has jumped, they have jumped, we have jumped, I have jumped, you have jumped. Okay, so the form is has or have plus the past participle of the verb. Moving on, the present perfect tense is used to refer to completed actions again that began in the past, right? So it began in the past and is still going on at the time of speaking, right? So how do you write that sentence? You write it with words using since and for. Since indicates the start of the time, for indicates the entire time duration, right? I have been working since 2007. So since means the start point. I have worked for more than 15 years. For means the entire duration, right? So if you want to talk about completed actions, right, but they began in the past and it is still going on, then you can use the present perfect tense, but you will use it with words like since and for, right? Sandy worked with our company till 2020. She was with us for 3 years. So this means that Sandy worked. Okay, so she has worked with us and she no longer works there. But if we use since and for, then let's have a look at the different meaning. Sandy has worked with our company since 2016. She has been with us for 6 years. Right? So basically, Sandy started working in 2016 and as of now, she has worked with us for a total number of 6 years and she is currently working as well. Right? So that is the main difference between the simple past as well as the present perfect. The present perfect is used to refer to completed actions along with adverbs of indefinite time, right? So some adverbs, they don't show us a definite time frame. They are indefinite. We don't know, right? You can say already, just, yet, okay? And they refer to actions that is expected to happen at some point in the future, right? Such adverbs are not used in the simple past tense, okay? So, which means you don't say she already went, she has already gone, right? So, when you're using frequency adverbs such as already, just, yet, you use it with the present perfect tense. And such adverbs are not used along with the simple past tense. We have already made reservations for the show, right? So when you have the frequency adverb, it is in between the auxiliary verb or the be verb and the main verb. I have finished. So if you want to say just, I have just finished my homework. Maya hasn't told her partner about the incident yet. Now remember, this can be used at the end of a negative sentence. Okay, so yet can be used at the end of a negative sentence because Maya hasn't told. Negative fact, she has means positive, hasn't means negative. And if the idea is negative, you can use yet at the end. Also remember, Maya hasn't yet told her partner about the incident can be used in the negative sentences, but it has to be after an auxiliary verb. So, auxiliary means supporting verbs. Has, have are auxiliary verbs as I told you here. So, if you are going to write yet, you always have to write it after the auxiliary verb. No one yet knows about the incident. Now, again, yet can be placed before a single verb. Okay, so just before knows, which is a single verb, you can use the word yet. Okay, so let us have a look at this bit again because there's a lot here. So, in the present perfect tense, you refer to completed actions and you could use it along with adverbs of indefinite time such as already, just and yet. Indefinite means you're not sure of the time, right? Now, if you're using such verbs, remember it needs to come between the auxiliary verb and the main verb, right? We have already. So, you have done it. It's completed. It's a completed action, but we don't know exactly when. When you don't know the time frame, you can use this. And if you want to use the frequency adverb, then you can put it like this. I have just finished my homework. Again, it refers to something in the past, but we don't know exactly when. And that is why you would have just finished, okay? Just is a frequency adverb and therefore it falls in between the main verb and the auxiliary verb. Now, yet is a bit different than just and already. You can't just use it wherever you want to. You have to use it carefully, right? So, it can be used at the end of a negative sentence. Okay? So, yet is usually used in negative sentences. Let me choose a different color, right? So, negative, right? So, here you can see that yet is used at the end of a negative sentence, or yet can be used after an auxiliary verb, or yet can be placed before a single verb, right? So, those are the three instances that yet can be used. Right, now the same way here, we're going to find out why B is correct and A is wrong, right? We have driven along the coastal road last month, okay? And the scenery was lovely. We drove along the coastal road last month and the scenery was beautiful. Or there's another sentence, you can say, we have driven along the coastal road and the scenery was lovely, right? Now, why is the first one wrong and why are these two sentences under 1B correct? Now, let's have a look at the first one, right? We drove along the coastal road last month and the scenery was beautiful. Now, when we use last month, it means that we know the exact time frame. So, if we know the specific timeline, we know when this happened, then it belongs as a simple past tense sentence. That is why we have drove, because we have used last month. But if you want to get rid of the last month, you can. Then, of course, we have driven because we don't know the specific time frame, but the action has been completed in the past, but we don't know the specific time. Then we can say we have driven because we is plural. Then we have to write have. Driven, past participle of the verb, along the coastal road and the scenery was lovely. So here, either you have to get rid of have driven or you have to get rid of last month to make the first one correct. Okay? So number 1 is wrong. Number 2 or 1B is correct. Mrs. Glenn took part in the rowing race since she was a young lady. She wants to be in the race for another year. Right? Mrs. Glenn has taken part in the rowing race since she was a young lady. She wants to be in the race for another year. Now, why is the first one wrong and why is the second one correct? So, if we have a look at the second bit of the first sentence, she wants to be in the race for another year. So, that is correct because it is a planned activity. So, that's correct. But when you say since, it shows the starting point of something. And if you want to show the starting point of something, what do you have to do? You have to use the present perfect. And this is in the past tense, so that bit is wrong. But if you come here, she has taken. So Mrs. Glenn is singular. So has plus the past participle of the verb, it's correct. So since along with the present perfect is correct. And for another year, wants is also correct because it is a planned activity. You can use the simple present tense, right? So it's actually that she has the desire to do it. Okay? Right. Okay. Having a look at the next one. She already got the acceptance letter for admission into university. She has already got, right? So if there is no time frame and the activity has been completed, you can't say she already got because already cannot be used in the simple past tense. So got is a past tense verb and you can't just use it. You have to use it in the present perfect form because already is a frequency adverb. And remember I told you already, just yet. You can't use it in the simple past tense. So she has already, fine, because the frequency adverb is used along with the present perfect form. Get, the past participle is got. So this is correct. So A, they have always enjoyed your video clips. B, they always enjoy your video clips. C, they have always enjoyed your video clips. So think about it. Which ones are correct? If it is incorrect, why is it incorrect? The second one, Jordan has just come home from abroad with a management degree. Jordan came home from abroad last month with a management degree. Jordan has just come home from abroad last month with a management degree. So which one or which ones are correct? A, B or C? Please take some time and jot down the right answers. Third one, I didn't finish my storybook yet and I have to hand it to the library today. I haven't finished my storybook yet and I have to hand it to the library today. I haven't finished my storybook yet and I have to hand it to the library today. So which one or which ones are correct? Fourth one, I have known Linda since we were in college. I know Linda since we were in college. I am knowing Linda since we were in college. So which one or which ones are correct? 3 years ago, we have formed a group to help underprivileged families. 3 years ago, we formed a group to help underprivileged families. 3 years ago, we were going to form a group to help underprivileged families. So, looking at the context and the form, which sentence or sentences are correct? He hasn't decided what to do for the presentation yet. He didn't decide what to do for the presentation yet. He hasn't yet decided what to do for the presentation. So clearly here you can pick up which sentence or sentences are correct. Okay? And here are your answers, right? So I'm sure you paused it and did it. So you can have a look at the answers now. Let's have a look at the answers. The first one. They have always enjoyed. Now, if you have, then what are you supposed to use? The past participle of the verb. So, enjoy, enjoyed, enjoyed. So, can you say they have always enjoyed? Wrong. They always enjoy your video clips. Yes, you can say that. Why? Because it's a usual thing. And if it happens every day and usually it happens like a habit, you can use the simple present tense along with the frequency adverb. So B is correct. They have always enjoyed perfect because you have has, have plus the past participle of the verb. In the middle you have the frequency adverb. So that is also correct. So which two letters are correct? B and C. Right? Alright. So here we have B and C. Let us have a look at the second one. Jordan has just come home, right? So has just come home. You don't say Jordan has just came home. Remember, when it comes to come, we leave it as it is because it comes along with just. Okay. If you want to use the simple past tense, then you can say Jordan came. But when you use it with has, you don't say has came. So there are few differences from the normal rule. Okay. Come is one of those rules. So Jordan has come home from abroad with a management degree. Fine, because there is no specific time frame. Jordan came home. Now here we use the simple past tense. Why? Because the time frame is here last month. And that is also correct. Jordan just come is wrong because the has or the have is missing. So if you are using just, you have to have it with the present perfect tense. So that is has or have. So C is wrong. A and B are correct. So let us have a look at the answers. A and B are correct. Let's have a look at the third one. I didn't finish my storybook yet. Now, yet cannot be used with the simple past tense. Remember, already, just and yet, you cannot use it with the simple past tense. So, that is wrong. I haven't finished my storybook. Again, when you have has or have, it should be with the past participle. So, therefore, finish not possible. So, that is also wrong. I haven't finished fine my storybook yet. It is at the end of the sentence before the other sentence begins. Because if you take and out, which is a conjunction, it will be I haven't finished my storybook yet, full stop. I have to hand it to the library today. So, yet is at the end of the sentence and that is correct. So, the correct answer is only C. Let us have a look if that is the answer. Yes. Now, let's look at the fourth question. I have known Linda since we were in college. Since is the start time, so it should be in the present perfect tense. Now, I is singular, but I showed you it acts like a plural. So, I have known, know plus the past participle is fine. It's known. I know Linda, wrong, because when since is there, you can't use the present tense. I am knowing, definitely no. Either you know something or you don't know, right? So that is a short verb. So you can't use it anyway with since. We can't do it. So the only correct answer is A. And that is our answer. Let's have a look at the fifth one. 3 years ago, we have formed wrong. You can't use have or the present perfect tense. Not have, I mean you can't use the present perfect form. Have plus the past participle, you can't use it. Why? Because 3 years ago is in the simple past tense. It gives us the time frame, so that is wrong. 3 years ago, we formed a group. That is fine, right? So, we did that in the past to help the privileged, underprivileged people. That is fine. 3 years ago, we were going to form. That is also correct because we were going to do it. Right? But we couldn't do it, but our initial plan was that we were going to do it. So that is also correct. So B and C are correct. And there you go. The last one. He hasn't decided what to do for the presentation yet. Perfect. Yet is at the end. Hasn't decided is there because yet comes along with the present perfect tense. Didn't decide? Wrong, because didn't is a simple past tense and yet cannot be used with that. He hasn't yet decided? Fine, because yet could come after the auxiliary verb as well. So that is also correct. So which ones are correct? A and C. Let me put up the answers for you again. Please go through and see if you've got it. Now I hope you understand better why some of the answers were correct and why some of the answers were incorrect. Alright, moving on, underline the correct verb forms in the brackets, right? So here you have two verbs. Looking again at the context, at the form, right? You have to figure out which tense does it belong to. Our maid has looked after or was looking after me since I was small. So since is there, think about the tense. Underline the correct verb forms in the bracket. So out of these two, you must select which one is correct. Our maid has looked after or was looking after me since. Okay, so this will give you the tip as to which tense it should be in. Jill chose or chosen to move to a different floor in the apartment a week ago. Santana always motivates or always motivated them to do their best because she cares about them. So think about the tense. She was forever threatening or forever threatened to resign unless she was given a raise. So continuously think about it. Was it happening? Did it happen? Or was it just one time? Think about it. Moving on. Prices of vegetables have risen sharply or rose sharply currently because of the shortage of fertilizers. We have lived or just lived in this huge rambling bungalow house forever. We have lived or lived in this huge rambling bungalow house ever since I was little. So think about since and how would the sentence work. I was hanging up the painting when I lost my balance and fell. Father didn't scold, hasn't scolded me yet for losing his expensive watch. So please pause the video and make sure that you jot down the correct answer before we discuss the answers. And the last two sentences, Ted has already met or already met the coach about a place in the football team. And the last one, he grew or has grown up to the confident young man we see today. Right? So think about the context, think about the words, the form that you see here, and think which tense would be appropriate. Is it going to be the present perfect, or looking at here, is it the simple past tense or any other form that they have given you, right? So here are the answers. Has looked after, shows, always motivates, was forever threatening, have risen sharply, have lived, was hanging, hasn't scolded, has already met, has grown. So let us have a look at the answers one by one as we always do. The first one. Are made me since I was small. So since means it's the starting point. So if you are going to talk about since and for in the sentence, which tense should it be? The present perfect. So has looked after, right? So if you go to the answers, it has looked after. The second one. Jill a week ago talks about a specific time in the past. So if the sentence has a specific time and it talks about something in the past, which tense do we use? The simple present tense. So Jill chose to move to a different floor in the apartment a week ago, right? So coming back to our answers, it is chose here. Let's have a look at the third one, right? Santana, them to do their best because she cares. Now cares is in this what? Simple present tense. So what does she always do? Because she loves them, she cares for them. What does she always do? Always motivates them, right? The next one. So always motivates. Let's have a look at question number 4. She to resign unless she was given a raise, right? So was given what, right? She was keeping on doing it in the past over and over repeatedly. So what was she doing? She was forever threatening. It didn't just stop once. She kept on doing it. Okay? So was forever threatening. And that is your answer. Next one, prices of vegetables currently because of the shortage of fertilizers, right? So something currently, we're not sure of the definite time, but it is recent past, and therefore we can use the present perfect. We don't know the exact time, but we know it's recent past, but we don't know exactly when, okay? So therefore, it is have risen sharply. Next one, since. So since, you know, would be used along with the present perfect. So it has to be has, have plus the past participle. So we have. We have lived in this huge rambling bungalow house ever since I was little, right? So here, have lived. The next one, I up the painting when I lost my balance and fell. So something came in between, okay, interrupted, and what is that? Fell. So before that I was doing the longer action. What was it? I was hanging. So the longer action is in the past continuous and the shorter or interrupting action is in the simple past tense, right? So was hanging. Now going back to our answers, here is the answer. Let's have a look at the next one. Didn't scold, hasn't scolded. When you have yet, you always know the simple past tense cannot come. So therefore, father hasn't scolded me yet. So the answer is hasn't scolded. Question number 9. Ted, the coach, about a place in the football team, right? So when you use already, can you just use it? No. Already, just, yet, okay, those kind of words, you just can't use it with any tense, especially in the past tense. This is in the past tense, so you can't use it. What can you use it along with? The present perfect. So then, what is the form of the present perfect tense? Has or have. So you have to have has already met. So that is our answer. The last one. He blank up to the confident young man we see today, right? So it has already happened and we see him as like that today. But we don't know exactly when. Right? So it's in the past, it's completed, but we don't know when. So has grown. So please have a look at your answers and see if you've got them correct. Okay? And we have also discussed, so if you had any doubt, I hope by now it's cleared. Alright. So moving on. Some of the sentences contain mistakes in the verb forms. Not all, some. Underline the mistakes and then write the correct verbs in the boxes provided. Okay, so here you have 3 sentences. And why am I reading it out? Because then it's easier for you to pinpoint and see, this is what is wrong in the sentence, rather than just looking at it. They have already tracked down the gang involved in bank robbery. Second one, just 3 weeks ago, Alma has found a tiny restaurant which serves fantabulous pork knuckles. The insurance company hasn't yet informed us why our claims have not been paid. So think about it, which ones are correct, which ones are incorrect, and if there's a mistake, underline it and just rewrite the verb only, right? So don't write the entire word, the entire sentence, sorry, don't write the entire sentence, just write the incorrect verb only in the box. The organizers of the marathon didn't announce the results yet. So think about it. I taught you something. Is it correct or is it incorrect? Since we came to this town 20 years ago, we have received nothing but kindness and support from people. I waited for more than 3 weeks for an email from the bank, but I have received no reply from them. No one yet see the issues the way you do. Kamal has just announced his engagement to Lali he met 3 years ago. Long ago, the family has bought the house next door to mine. Right? Right. Before we have a look at the answers, take some time and pause the video and complete the answers. Right? Alright. So I hope you have completed the answers. Let us have a look at it together. Right, they have already tracked down the gang involved in bank robbery, right? So they have tracked down, we don't know when, right? But have tracked and already is in between, so I think that is correct. So sentence number 1 is correct. Just 3 weeks ago, Alma has found. So 3 weeks means we know the specific time. So you don't have to say has found. That's wrong. Okay. So let me just underline the relevant one. If not, you will get confused, right? So 3 weeks ago is a specific time, right? But then you can't say has found. So that is wrong. So you can say just 3 weeks ago, Alma found. Okay. Alma found a tiny restaurant which serves fantabulous pork knuckles. The insurance company hasn't yet informed us why our claims have not been paid. So that is correct. Why yet is after the auxiliary verb and that is fine. Moving on, the organizers of the marathon didn't announce the result yet. So that is wrong. Okay. When you have yet, you cannot use it with the what? Simple past tense. So the organizers of the marathon haven't announced the results yet. Since we came to this town 20 years ago, we have received nothing but kindness and support from the people, right? So when you say since, have received is fine. So this sentence is correct. Starting time is 20 years ago. I waited for more than 3 weeks for an email from the bank, but I have received no reply. Again, it is perfectly okay. No one yet see. So when you say no one, it should be sees. Okay. No one yet sees the issue the way you do. Now, how does this work? Is it right? Or no one has yet seen the issues the way you do. Okay. So remember, yet, I want to bring out that rule before we go ahead. Right? What is the rule for yet? So yet, you could use it at the end of a negative sentence. You could also use it after an auxiliary, or you could use it before a single verb. So that is the rule in that sentence. So you don't have to think a lot and worry about it. Okay. It should be sees because it should be before a single verb. Kamal has just announced his engagement to Lali, who he met 3 years ago, right? So you know 3 years ago is a specific time. So Kamal announced his engagement, okay? You don't say has just announced, you would say Kamal announced his engagement to Lali, who he met 3 years ago. Long ago, the family has bought the house next door to mine. Wrong. When you say long ago, you know when it was. So, long ago, the family bought the house next door to mine. All right. Okay, so moving on, fill in the blanks with the correct forms of the verbs in the brackets, right? So inside the brackets, you have the verbs. You have to fill it with the appropriate verb form, right? It blank a long time since Joanne and I saw each other. For many years, I blank if she still remembers me. I blank so much since the 1990s when we blank two giggling schoolgirls. Today, Joanne blank an executive position in her company. In fact, she blank the manager for the Asia Pacific region. Since then, I, on the other hand, blank a university degree, got married and settled down. As I stood waiting, my eyes suddenly blank on an elegant young woman standing there in front of me. It was unmistakably Joanne. She blank her arms around me and hugged me. Since our school days, time blank has done different paths in life, but our bond of friendship blank as strong as ever, even after all these years, right? So this is a complete paragraph that you need to complete, extracted from the book called Grammar Builder, right? So have a look at it, do it on your own, go back to this slide, okay, and then have a look at it, pause it, complete the answers, then come on to this bit and complete the answers. So I'd like you to pause the video time to time and complete your answers before we actually have a look at the answers for discussion. Right, so I hope you had finished writing the answers. Let us have a look at the answers. I blank a long time since Joanne and I saw each other. Sorry, it, okay? It blank a long time. So it has been a long time since Joanne and I saw each other. For many years, I have often wondered if she still remembers me. I have changed so much since the 1990s when we were two giggling schoolgirls. Today, Joanne holds an executive position in her company. In fact, she has just become Okay, so become is also like come. You don't say she has just became, right? She has just become the manager for the Asia Pacific region. Since then, I, on the other hand, have earned a university degree, got married and settled down. As I stood waiting, my eyes suddenly focused on an elegant young woman standing there in front of me. It was unmistakably Joanne. She threw her arms around me and hugged me. Since our school days, time has led us down different paths in life, but our bond of friendship remains. As strong as ever, even after all these years. So, we have discussed the answers, and I hope you have understood as to why I've put the past tense or the present perfect, right? So here, since is there, so it is the present perfect. Many years, we are not sure of when it is, so often wondered. And changed since, again, because since is there, we have done the present perfect. Okay. 1990s, specific time, so the past tense. At present, she holds because it's a current situation. Okay, she's had it for a long time, so holds. And in fact, she has just become. So just is what? Recent. We don't know exactly when, so it should be in the present perfect. Since then, since is there, so again, present perfect. My eyes suddenly focused because it's something in the past, right? So focused. She threw her arms around me and hugged me. Again, action is completed and finished. Since again is there, so present perfect. And the friendship, of course, is a long-lasting, long-term thing. So, simple present tense. So, I'm sure you've understood why I've used these words and which tense as to what the reason is behind it. All right. This brings us to our last activity. The sentences below are incorrect. Rewrite them correctly. I have lost my keys. I hope I find them soon, or I will have to climb in through a window. Susan already distributed the leaflets to the participants in the hall, so every person should have his or her own copy. So think about it. Right? What is wrong in terms of the form, or is it in terms of the context? Is it wrong? The workmen have stacked up all our boxes yesterday evening because they are going to paint the room today. Our relatives didn't reply to our wedding invitation yet. Okay, so they didn't reply to our wedding invitation yet. Okay, so I think you would have got the answer with what I was telling, right? But you've got to rewrite it properly. Sandra and I are close friends since we were little. We enjoy doing things together like watching dramas and composing music, right? So I hope you take some time and rewrite them on your own. And here are the answers. Okay? Right, so let's have a look at the first one. I have lose my house keys. You don't have to say lose, you can say I have lost my house keys. I hope I find them soon, or I will have to climb in through a window. Right, so let's have a look at the second one, okay? Now, what do you think the second one is? Susan already distributes. You can't say distribute. Susan, okay? And remember, with some frequency adverbs, it has to be in the present perfect tense. Now, let us go back and have a look at it. So, I remind it for you, so you'll be able to do it easily. Already, just, and yet, it does not come with the simple past tense. So, when you rewrite it, you have to make sure it is in the present perfect tense. So, Susan has already distributed leaflets to the participants in the hall. So, every person should have his or her own copy. All right. Moving on to the next one, right? So, the workmen have stacked up all our boxes yesterday. So, when you have yesterday evening, you know the specific time frame. So, can you say have stacked up? No. So, what you have to write is the workmen stacked up all our boxes yesterday evening because they are going to paint the room today. Our relatives didn't reply to our wedding invitation yet. So when yet is there, you can't have didn't. So what should it be? Our relatives. What can you say? You can't say didn't reply. So what is the correct form? Haven't, because it is plural. haven't replied to our wedding invitation yet. And the last one. So Sandra and I are close friends. You can't say are because there is since. So Sandra and I have been close friends since we were little. We enjoy doing things together like watching dramas and composing music. All right, so I hope you got all the answers, right? I've done it along with you. So the incorrect ones I've corrected and rewritten it again, right? And I've also told you the reasons as to why they are incorrect. So what have we done today? Lots of questions, and we've done a recap, or we've run through the lesson, which was present perfect tense. So I hope you've understood what is the difference between the past tense and the present perfect tense. The main difference is that you don't know exactly when it happened, but they are both completed actions. But the difference is the present perfect, we don't have the exact time frame. And we also use it along with words like since and for, right? So I hope you have a good understanding of the present perfect tense, and with that we round off for this lesson.